يجب أن يستقيل في الساعات القادمة 20 أكتوبر 2020.
Good afternoon on this Sunday, December 14th. I'm Yumna Naufal. These are today's headlines. The families of the Lebanon's captive soldiers and policemen slammed the government for failing to bring back their men, threatening to take matters into their own hands. Kurdish forces kill at least 16 Islamic State group fighters in an attack in northeastern Syria near the border with Turkey, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. And U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is on his way for a series of meetings in Europe seeking to head off an end-of-year UN showdown over a Palestinian bid for statehood. The families of the Lebanon's captive soldiers and policemen slammed the government today for failing to bring back their men, threatening to take matters into their own hands. This is a failed government that cannot bring back the sons of its institutions to their mothers. Omar Haidar, a member of the Captive Families Committee, told hundreds of people at a solidarity rally for the hostages in downtown Beirut. Haidar criticized the lawmakers for agreeing to extend their own mandates and insulting the Lebanese people's dignity, but failing to stop the killings of captive servicemen. Speakers from organizations representing a variety of religious groups addressed the crowd of supporters who held banners in support of the army and security forces, as well as pictures of the captives. The speakers stressed on the unity between the different communities of Lebanon and called for a quick solution that can put an end to the ongoing crisis and bring back the hostages alive. Lebanese forces and Free Patriotic Movement leaders are in continuous dialogue, and a session joining the two parties' chiefs is expected to take place very soon. According to lawmakers from both parties, there is non-stop communication and dialogue with the forces, Lebanese, and this is expected to lead to more dialogue, according to Reform and Change Bloc MP Ibrahim Kanaan in a TV interview. He said, quote, "We will attempt to agree on a common vision despite the healthy democratic competition between both of them." Lebanese Forces MP Antoine Zahra, on his side, confirmed Kanaan's comments in an interview with local radio station Voice of Lebanon, and he stressed that he opposed a merely symbolic dialogue between both parties, and that he said dialogue should only be held with the purpose of improving ties. Just to remind you, Lebanon has been without a president since May 25th, when former President Michel Sleiman left his office at the end of his term. Hezbollah and the Free Patriotic Movement are expressing reservations on tasking the Muslim Scholars Committee with negotiating the release of Lebanese soldiers and policemen taken hostage by the Islamist gunmen. According to the Pan-Arab daily Al Hayat newspaper, Hezbollah rejects tasking the committee with negotiations over its ongoing campaign against the party and its intervention in the war raging in neighboring Syria. Now, sources told the newspaper that Hezbollah will not announce publicly its rejection to avoid a sectarian tension. The families of the policemen and servicemen for almost 5 months now held by ISIS met also with MP Walid Jumblat, who repeatedly called on the government to accept the swap deal to free the servicemen. Kurdish forces killed at least 16 Islamic State group fighters in an attack in the northeastern part of the country in Syria near the border with Turkey, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The assault targeted IS positions south of the town of Ras Al Ain in Hasakeh province, the Britain-based monitoring group said. Ras Al Ain is the scene of fierce fighting last year between Kurdish forces ousted from the jihadist border town. The observatory, which relies on activists and medics on the ground for its information, also reported clashes at the jihadist besieged border town of Kobani, some 100 kilometers away. The observatory said IS jihadists had beheaded 4 men in public in the central province of Homs after accusing them of insulting God. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is on his way for a series of meetings in Europe seeking to head off an end-of-year UN showdown over a Palestinian bid for statehood. His first stop will be Rome, where he will meet separately both with Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, and Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister. Diplomats say negotiations on a UN resolution to revive Israeli-Palestinian peace prospects are making little headway, with Europeans waiting for a U.S. response to proposals. Jordan last month circulated a draft Palestinian text to the Security Council, setting November 2016 as a deadline for the end of the Israeli occupation. But the text ran into opposition from the U.S., which has veto power, and other countries that felt it lacked balance. Coming up next, we take a look at Angelina Jolie's latest directorial movie. It's called Unbroken. You are not going to want to miss it. Welcome back. You're watching the 4:20 o'clock news on Future Television. At least 4 Shia Houthi fighters have been killed in Raqqa while battling al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Houthis are also pushing for control of an area just north of the capital, Sana'a. They have blown up 7 buildings in the Arhab district of Greater Sana'a, apparently owned by their opponents, despite a ceasefire agreement signed by all parties in September. It comes as Houthi fighters backed and sacked the president-appointed governor of Hodeidah province, Sakhr al-Wajh, and appointed new governor loyal to them, Hassan Hage. Houthis entered villages this morning in Arhab after tribal leaders in the area decided not to confront the group. Military and tribal officials say the Houthis used tanks and artillery to shell houses and neighborhoods. And in the United States, thousands of protesters made their way down the iconic Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. They marched to the U.S. Capitol building to call attention to the death of an unarmed black man at the hands of police and call for legislative action. Organizers had predicted 5,000 people, but the crowd appeared to outnumber that. Protests, some violent, have occurred around the nation since grand juries last month declined to indict the officers involved in the death of Michael Brown and Eric Garner, who gasped, "I can't breathe," while being arrested for allegedly selling loose, untaxed cigarettes in New York. Politicians and others have talked about the need for better police training, body cameras, and changes in the grand jury process to restore faith in the legal system. Britain's little Duke and Duchess of Cambridge released 3 official Christmas photographs of their young son. I said little Duke. I did not mean that. I was referring to Prince George. In the images taken late last month, the 16-month-old is pictured on the steps of Kensington Palace in London, where he lives with his parents, William and Kate, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. The last official pictures of George were published to mark his 1st birthday on 22nd of July. The next big moment in the young prince's life will be the arrival of a baby brother or sister due in late April. Prince George is the great-grandson to Queen Elizabeth and is 3rd in line to the British throne. Billboard Music honored some of the leading women in the music arena. This annual luncheon featured a visibly moved Taylor Swift, who got serenaded by Aretha Franklin and was presented with a birthday cake. She was named Woman of the Year, and Aretha Franklin an icon. Ariana Grande was rising star, Iggy Azalea was chart topper, Charli XCX was hitmaker, Idina Menzel breakthrough artist of the year, Jessie J was powerhouse, and Hayley Williams was trailblazer. All but Azalea and Grande walked the red carpet. She showed up, Grande, a little late, but hustled up the steps and past fans. Beyonce also made a surprise appearance at the luncheon, but only stood briefly at the end of the carpet in shadow before moving inside.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Taylor. Happy birthday to you.
Candles to blow out.
Oh my god, I'm so happy! Okay. Yeah, everybody else gets to make a wish too. That's how this works. It's my birthday, I make the rules.
Angelina Jolie is reluctantly calling in sick for Unbroken promotional duty. Universal Pictures said that Jolie is suffering from a mild bout of chickenpox that will keep her from making public appearances in the coming days to support the film, which she directed. It's titled Unbroken, about former Olympian Louis Zamperini, and is set to premiere in Los Angeles tomorrow. Jolie's illness comes days after she was maligned by top Hollywood executives in private emails made public by the Sony cyber attack, and her film was also ignored by the Screen Actor Guild's Award and the Golden Globes. But let's look at the trailer anyway.
darker night, however dim our hopes.
Inbound 4 o'clock roll.
The light will always follow darkness.
Keep going the way you're going, you end up as a bum on the street. You train. You fight harder than those other guys, and you win. You can take it, you can make it. You can do this, Lou. You just gotta believe you can. Pop does. Ma does. I do.
Louis, a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
I got good news and bad news.
Who is the Olympic athlete? Don't look at me. Hello, mother, father. This is your Louis talking. I am now interned in a Tokyo prisoner of war camp. I can't say this. What it says about America, it's not true. This man must be taught respect. Each prison will teach him this lesson. I used to think that I could do anything, that I was better than I am.
Who says you're not?
If you get me through this, I swear I'll dedicate my whole life to you. If I can take it, I can make it.
Stay down.
If you drugs it, shoot it.
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. The families of the Lebanon's captive soldiers and policemen slammed the government for failing to bring back their men, threatening to take matters into their own hands. Kurdish forces kill at least 16 Islamic State group fighters in an attack in northeastern Syria near the border with Turkey, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. And U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is on his way for a series of meetings in Europe, seeking to head off an end-of-year UN showdown over a Palestinian bid for statehood. That's all from me here on Future Television. Linda Tamim will be back tomorrow for all the latest in Lebanon and the world. Have a good week ahead.
يجب أن يستقيل في الساعات القادمة 20 أكتوبر 2020.